Hello everybody, and welcome to today's class. Today, we're going to be focusing on variables. In Scratch, there are three main types of variables. We have single sprite variables, multi-sprite variables, and pre-made variables. In today's class, we're going to be focusing on these three variables and how we can use them in our code. So let me show you these. Let's go to make a variable. Here, you can see you have sprites, a variable that goes to all the sprites, for all sprites, a variable that goes for only one sprite, and then you'll have the ones that are pre-made over here. Now, a cloud variable is a more advanced form of variables. It's basically a variable that's stored on the cloud. So if you're trying to make a leaderboard, this is the perfect thing you can use. But let's start off for the sprite only. Now, when you say that you have a variable for this sprite only, that means that it can only relate to the sprite. Now, what's something that firmly relates to this sprite? Well, it could be its x and y position, right? So let's make two. Let's make it x position, and let's make y position. Okay. Oh, I have to delete this one because I named it for all sprites. Here, gotta make this sprite only. Now you see, when you go over here, it says sprite 1, x position, sprite 1, y position. Now, making a variable for only one sprite means that you can only change it in the sprite because variables are meant to be changed. So let's go to events, let's take this out. And right now, this variable has no value to it. It's 0. We want to assign something to it. So to assign something to it, we need to set it. So let's set the x position and let's set the y position. Now we want to set the x and y positions to its current x and y position, which would get over here. Now we hit this, we see it's 0, 0, because it's 0, 0. Now let's move it over here. It changes. It changed again. It changed again. So that's just a variable. Now we can go back to control, get a forever block, and do this. So if you move it around, it automatically does it. It's continuously setting the x position to x and setting the y position to y. Now, let's quickly create a control block, a control code. Now, it's continuously checking its x and y position. So when I move it around, you can see that it automatically changes it. Look at that. Okay, now of course, you can also do set. You can set your x position. So set x position is 0, set y position is 0. Now if you do this, it automatically hits the 0 first, and then let's show exactly how it does by clicking a wait button. Now you see, it sets it to this, and then it changes to the actual x and y position. You see, the x position and y position here, the variable you created, is not the actual x and y position. It's a replication of the actual x and y position. So if you're trying to do a calculation, it makes no point in making these kind of variables. You take the pre-made variables here, the x and y position. Now, there's another kind you can do. You have all sprites. Now, variables for all sprites are also really useful. You can use these to make level games or points for your game, or if you're trying to have a countdown, a timer. These are the kinds of things you'd use a variable for all of the sprites. So let's call this one score. Okay, your score is 0. Let's get a ball quickly. Okay, and let's give it a quick code saying here when this is clicked forever. You want to check it forever. If touching the cat sprite 1, then change this score by 0.2 seconds. And then we go to change score by 1, and then control wait 0.2 seconds. Okay, so now we move Scratchy off to the side. Let's click play. Now we're Scratchy moving around. That's right. And now he gets points. Hi, 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 hi. Okay. Now, see, the score is increasing. It's not a variable that pertains to only the sprite. Only pertains to the ball. You can change it in this one as well. So let's say, let's bring this over into this one. Copy it. If, now let's make it not. So if you're not touching it, then change the score by -10, -1 every 0.8 seconds. So now if we play this, we see that you start losing points. Huh. But now if you go in here, we see we gain points. As you can see, we're able to alter both of them in two different sprites. But if I were to go to ball, go to variables, you see I'm not able to access it anymore. Only when I'm in this sprite am I able to access the variables for this sprite only. And that's why these two different kinds of variables are extremely useful. Okay, the next type of variable we have is basically the pre-made variables that Scratch makes for you. An example of these are the X and Y positions, and also their direction, like where is it facing. These are extremely useful. Like, I know some people, they like creating their own variable and then syncing it to these X and Y positions, but I don't see the point in it because it's basically the same thing. You're just replicating it. You're complicating your code. So that's why it's always, always useful to use these two. The next one we have is for looks. They automatically have your costume number, your backdrop number, and your size. Now, usually these aren't really useful things to display, but they're important variables to use in your calculations. Like if you're trying to say, let's show you an example of one of my specialty codes that you can use for animation. So you take this and you take this. Now, here's how you do it. You put this inside of the division. So the subtraction goes inside the division. Now, what you want to do is you want to give it a target. What's your target? Where do you want it to go? Well, I wanted to go to size 120. Okay, we're just saying I wanted to go to size 120. Then we're going to subtract that from its current size. So we're going to take size, we're going to drop it there. And then how many increments are we going to increase it by? Well, let's say 5. Okay? So let's move Scratchy out. Let's give it the ball in animation. Let's drag this there. Oh, it didn't go. Okay. And if touching sprite 1. Now, if touching mouse pointer, change size by this. And then, oh wait, not if else. So if touching mouse pointer, then change size by this. Else, let's bring it back to its normal size. Now, let me explain how this works. You see, by doing this, by using this variable here, you're changing all of these. So here, its size is 100 right now. Now if I touch it, it goes to 120. It goes back to 100, 120, 100, 120. We can make this one, its base one, 150. We can make its new one, 200. So let's play it again. Here, bigger, smaller, bigger, smaller, bigger, smaller, bigger, smaller. All you see, variables are pre-made are really useful. Next, we have sound, volume. Now, I don't really understand how the volume would be important here, but sometimes if you just want to use it to see if you exceed a certain loudness, then use it. Events don't have variables, they have messages, and we'll be getting to that in a second because those are really important. Control also doesn't have variables, but sensing has a lot. You can say, ask your name. Let's see the answer. My name is Amit. And then it gives you the answer, Amit, over there. You also have loudness. As I talk, you see the loudness increases over here, but as I don't talk, it decreases. Like that. We also have a timer. This timer starts when you begin your code. Automatically starts. That's why if you're going to use a timer, you want to reset it. And then once you use a timer, you can say, oh, once the timer exceeds this amount of time, then say stop code or say begin code. Things like that. You also have the current year, and you can do this for the year, day, month, date, day of the week, hour, minute, and second. You can also ask for the username. This can be good if you're trying to create a leaderboard. Really unique stuff. But that's it on pre-made variables. Now, like I said before, we had to go over messages. Messages are another extremely important thing. Messages are extremely useful in the way that they're versatile. If you're starting a game, you're not just gonna start your game off the bat. I mean, like you gotta have an introduction page, gotta have some like cool flashy animations, right? So to do this, we can use messages. So when we start the game, we say, okay, show the new page and where you're going to show the title page, like the title page, like not the actual game, just the start page where you can click play button, a help screen maybe, all those kind of stuff. Now, once you have that ready, you say once you click the play button, and then you broadcast a message. I broadcast message, start game. So let's change it to start game. I'm starting a game. Let's broadcast that over here. Let me say when I receive start game, then you do the things to start the game. You hide all the other stuff, you show the character, you start the things that's going to fall down the screen and start your game. And that's exactly how you do it. By learning all of these different things and being able to fully comprehend and implement it into your code, you can create some really cool stuff. Like the things I showed you with the animation of where touching the ball and not touching the ball. All these different kinds of animations can lead you to become an even better Scratch programmer. But you also have to remember, Scratch programming is not something you can just see once and do it again. You need to practice and practice and practice. You need to be able to look at what I'm teaching you on this screen and bring it into your own code. Bring the different concepts I teach you and create your own cool, unique thing. But that's it for now. Thank you for watching.